Welcome to Center Stage, the documentary podcast. Each week, our group of intrepid researchers and music archivists dig through the record crates of the world, looking for that one artist to take center stage. Using a patent-pending algorithm and spirited debate, we pick one artist. Once that is settled, we invite that artist into Thunderlove Studio to chat with your hosts Keith R. Higgins and Jeff Calhoun. When we're lucky, they say yes. Our mission with Center Stage is simple: to make sure the recorded work of artists remains, or in some cases lands on, the cultural radar. We invite you to sit back and relax. Thank you for joining us.
Where the sky hangs heavy and low, where the golden glory shines beyond the day's decline. Hope is what you'll find if you wanna go.
Bingham Barnes plays bass for the alternative country band Glossary, a band you should know if you don't already. He's also the bass player for the metal band Electric Python, and at the very beginning of what we hope is a long solo career. He stopped by Thunderlove Studio recently to talk about the scope of his career and what he's up to now. Here's our conversation with Bingham Barnes.
Recording has started.
Yeah.
It's
official now. Anything you say is on the record.
You're now on the record.
Is it that easy to get on a record now?
Well, Bingham Barnes, welcome to Center Stage.
All right. Thank you for the invitation.
Of course. I met you, Bingham, back in the mid-90s. I think we probably met through Sponge Bath Records, if I had to take a guess.
Yeah, I worked there for a little bit. That was my first real job out of college.
If they ever made a documentary about Sponge Bath Records, what would your contribution be? What would your 30-second audio clip be?
I left crying in tears.
Oh,
did you?
Tell us more about that.
Oh man, it was just my heart was was aligned with the bands and all my friends, and I just really wanted to see them all do well. And I guess I sort of came from a different thoughts on how the music industry should be, as opposed to the guys that were running it. But in retrospect, I was young and naive, and they were businessmen, and it's not how I would have done things, but it seemed like they would sit on recordings forever and not do anything with it, because their game was it seemed to me, it was to try to get a bigger deal for the artists, and so everybody can make a living. And now that I'm an old man, I get it. but back then, I'm just like, man, just put a record out, put them on the road. Everybody wants to go tour. Let's go have fun. Let's be, let's go out there and do it. And I didn't, my friends weren't really, they were in some of those bands. They weren't out touring and doing stuff. And I don't know, that's what I always really wanted to do, at least at the time. So, but I made a lot of great friends out of that whole experience. I'm still friends with most everybody. Oddly enough, it's my buddy Michael Eads. He was the kid there that did all the website stuff, and he's got this great record label and podcast network called YK Records in Uni here in town. Just totally crushing it. Doing some really great stuff.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Now, were you in a band at the time?
Yeah, I was in Glossary at that time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you knew that about me. I was in a band called Glossary.
I do. Jeff hit me to that. Yeah.
We'll get to Glossary in a second.
I hope you don't want to know too much. It was all foggy.
Well, for reasons, right?
Yeah.
Now that you are many years, decades removed from that experience, it seems to me like a lot of the people that you mentioned, relationships and friendships, there was a regional vibe to it. There was kind of a Murfreesboro centric thing happening. The Katies were there, Mahaffey was there. The Features were close by. But the success of some of those bands did draw national and international attention to that scene. Does it feel weird now to have kind of like a local scene that was kind of uniquely put under the microscope the way that group of artists was?
Well, it was interesting. I think it was just a time, the timing of how things were. It's like, I don't know if we would see that now. And it's still there. I think the music is there, the passion, and the kids. I'm very disconnected from it. So it's like, I feel very fortunate that I was able to be around in those days, because it was really super awesome, and I think we were all really excited because of the attention. It was definitely exciting times to be a part of that music scene in Murfreesboro.
I remember working in radio when the first Glossary record that we spun with intensity anyway was This Is All We've Learned About Living. And to me, like, both Daydream Drifting and Feeling Transcendental are like classic rock to me. Like, those are the songs that were like we played to death on the radio.
Well, yeah, that was the second record.
Yeah.
So you never heard the first one. Well, the story begins, I guess, with Daphne's Operation, which was Jason. And it was a noisy band that was a lot of fun. Jason and I were in. Jason is our original drummer. Sorry, he was the original songwriter, guitar player, along with Joey Knizer. He just happened to be a great drummer, and so is Joey Knizer. And then that band had sort of run its course, and then Joey's band was called Situation No Win. And they were like this ferocious, like, pop punk band. Like, rah, 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 rah. It was awesome. They were great, and we all had classes together. And that band was sort of like running its course too. We had gone in together on a practice space, and we're splitting the rent on it. So that's how we all became like good buds, and we had classes together. And as the prospective bands, like sort of were petering out at that time, it's just things that just run their course. It wasn't anything crazy. We're like, hey, let's start a band. We got this practice space, and that's sort of how we came together. And I think the first time Jason, who was in Daphne's operation with me, and Joey had got together, I think we came away from that first practice with like 4 songs, because Joey was a pretty prolific songwriter. He just had them, and they just fell together really quick. And we were like, that was fun. Well, we just kept doing it. And then Jason's a great songwriter as well. So we played, that's how it was in the beginning. It was like we played some of Jason's and some of Joey's songs. And we didn't really have a drummer. So we all took turns playing drums. And we thought it was great fun, because everybody's like, yeah, I get to play drums. And it was really annoying probably to see us live, though, because it's like, oh, cool, thanks. Well, we're going to switch everything around and kill the momentum here. But, things sort of, as you know, I guess that second album you were asking about. Well, first we did Southern by the Grace of Location. So Jason's now wife, Maggie, joined the band, because we had like this old Moog synthesizer. It wasn't a Moog, it was a Realistic by Moog. And we thought it'd be a lot of fun to use it as well. And so we just asked Maggie what she was doing, and she's like, yeah, I'll do it. So she was with us for a while. And we recorded those first 2 albums, I think, were me, Jason, Maggie, and Joey. And, Jason and Joey both probably equally writing the songs. I think Dating Drifting, you were mentioned, I think that's a Joey song. What was the other song?
Feeling Transcendental.
Yeah, that's a Joey Knazer song as well, yeah. So yeah, that was the first 2 albums. And I'd say after that, we were super young and just having a good time playing in a band, and we wanted to go play as many shows as we can. We did. We didn't get too far or anything. I think we made it to Kentucky. Do we ever make it to Alabama?
Yeah.
We made it to Knoxville. I know we went to Knoxville.
There are Glossary fans in Birmingham.
I know a couple. Good people, too. Bless their hearts. Anyway, that's the beginning. That's the gist of the beginning.
Was there a talk when you formed the band about, like, what do we want the vibe to be? What do we want the sound to be? Because I feel like there is a progression over time of, you kind of started off very Merge Records, like indie sounding, and got progressively more alt country or Americana album to album, right. I feel like.
Well, when we first started, because like I said, like Daphne's operation was very Polvo Sonic Youthy, experimental, loud, noisy, and then Joey's band was very Jawbreaker and pop punk, and we sort of we were like, oh, let's write some songs that are catchy. We were into indie pop at the time. We were into Superchunk. We were into Small Factory and that kind of stuff. And those songs were fun to play, and we ended up coming up with some catchy songs. That stuff definitely has a different vibe to it, but it was definitely still us. And I think definitely the older we got, just the more music we started loving and listening to, and one artist in particular, being at that age and being somebody from the South, I was always into, I was never into country music ever. Always like just thought that was not cool at all until I guess like Jason and Joey started, and this isn't even country music I'm talking about, Neil Young. But to me, when I was like 22, I was like, this is as country as anything I've ever listened to. And then it came from there, it's just like, you see what I mean? It's just like, it was just young and dumb, it was just like, we were just into our thing. And as we were discovering more and more stuff, it's just sort of the vibe sort of really started taking a hold of the path. And it was after the beginning, there was never really was a spoken like thing like, hey, let's write stuff to sound like this. It was never a thing. It was just like we just did what we did. And I think it was the third album. You might have to remind me what it was called. We got remember we got Paul Niehaus to come play pedal steel on a song. And Paul is he was in Lamb Chop. He's a Nashville guy. And he was also in another band called Calexico. And we thought it would be cool to put pedal steel on this one song because it had like a country feel to it. And I mean, that set it off for us, just having him come play that one track in the studio with us. And next thing you know, like Todd Bean, goes and gets a pedal steel, and we were off.
I wish I had wings so I could fly over this city. 'Cause I need a bitterless point of view. From up here this town looks like the grid on a map, where all the lonely places are labeled in blue. The highway stretches out into the skyline. The graveyard senses there is life in you. So fly me one town over, so we could see if they're living like we do. And hold me down if I start running. Tie me up so I won't.
So there is kind of a line of demarcation for the sound splitting off to like the introduction of pedal steel sounds like the thing.
That was, and it was, oh man, if I had the album in front of me, I could tell you which track it is. It's Hold Me Down, If I Keep Running. It's my own band, and I can't tell you the name of the song right off the top of my head. Told you it was going to be foggy.
Let's see if the fog parts for Headstones and Dead Leaves.
But I bet if you asked me to play it on bass right now, I'd nail it.
Yeah. pick it right up and find your home. Does Headstones and Dead Leaves take you anywhere?
That's one of my favorite songs, man.
And I don't want you to die for me, or give up anything that you love. 'Cause I know the world can be cruel enough. And headstones and dead leaves just remind yourself wants to live on things like us. And I don't want you to cry over me or be anything that I know you're not.
Was Long Live All of Us the last full length that Glossary did?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
That was we rented a house out in Rockville. It's right outside Murfreesboro. Not far. It was close enough to where we drove out there every day. And it was the church parsonage. You know what parsonage is? It's like a house that, you know, they let the preacher live in. And our friends, Kent Goolsby and his band, The Only Sons, they rented it. And they rented it. They gladly moved out and rented it to us. So we paid their bills for a month. And there was a church, the Presbyterian church, right next door. We were able to do a day of recording inside the church as well while we were out there. But those good times. I mean, all the albums that we recorded, we had a good time. All, you know, coming together and making them happen.
I tell you what, as far as, and I know that you've published a Christmas album since then, and it's not really the end, but in terms of the end of a story arc for a band, that song "Ghosts in the Vapor" is as good a final track as you could hope for.
Well, I'll have to let that resonate with me because I never have completely put an end to the story arc of the band. So I'm still holding on for rock and roll.
Should be stated, Joey has since put out several really fantastic solo albums.
Yeah.
Joey actually mentions on his website sort of the reason that Glossary was put down. He said the five of us made a promise that there was no substituting anyone in the band, and if somebody couldn't play, we'd take a break.
That's what happened, and we've been taking a break. And we're all still friends.
Any chance? Everybody's still cool.
The text thread is still alive. We still we're friends for life. Todd's down in Alabama. Kelly lives in Tulsa, Oklahoma now, and Joey and I are here in Nashville. We get together.
Hope springs eternal, right?
Yeah. we may or may not have played glossary songs together at a certain point.
See,
Yeah,
that's a tease.
I know. I would love. I hope it happens. I would love for it to happen, but there's no plans right now. Other than just getting together and having a good time. I think Joey and I both were just feeling like it'd be fun to get together and play.
I'm gonna share a piece of video here that unfortunately listeners won't be able to check out. But sometimes sometimes I feel like our guests and their social media feed.
Well, let me explain that to you.
Well, hold on. Let's try and describe it.
Go ahead. I want to hear you guys describe it.
For me, I'm gonna take a stab at it.
All right, I want to hear it.
All right. Okay, is Bingham dressed in a pink furry tutu that's almost like that's a boa?
Is that a flamingo?
Elephant.
Elephant?
No, flamingo. You got flamingo.
Flamingos.
Right. Okay.
I'm a pink flamingo.
Oh,
we're
talking neon pink here, like Barbie pink.
I got like all the good colors of pink. By the way, fun fact: pink is one of my favorite colors.
Sure. We're gonna post this on our Instagram.
Sure,
if you don't mind.
Sure. Yeah, don't mind at all.
Okay,
you could use that as the like.
Actually, I'm gonna use it as the title card.
I'm proud of it.
What's the backstory?
Was it Mardi Gras?
Or is that just everyday wear for you?
It was Mardi Gras.
Okay.
It was February last year for Mardi Gras, and I guess to put it in full context, I guess my daughter was a dinosaur that year, a T-Rex, and my wife was a zebra, and she was an amazing zebra. I'll have to share the picture of us all together, I guess.
We should add, for additional context, that Bingham is coming to us live from his what looks like maybe office or rehearsal space, which has many stuffed animals nailed to the ceiling. So there's a theme here, Bingham.
I could give you the story on the stuffed animals too.
I think you should.
If we're here.
Yeah.
I have a daughter. She's 8, and she has a lot of stuffed animals, like more than any kid really needs. And we have enough stuffed animals for like 4 families. So it just got overdone one day when there was a specific one that we were looking for, and I think we finally got irritated with it. Hey, some of these got to go away. And so we put them all in a trash bag and brought them up here. And I was like, I hate for these stuffed animals to be in a trash bag. And I need some sound deadening above this drum set.
Oh.
So I figured I hung them from the ceiling to sort of, for,
soundproofing.
Not necessarily soundproofing, but just sort of take the highs a little bit off of the cymbals and the snares and stuff. And I don't know if it does any good whatsoever, but it looks fun.
We're gonna go with sonically appropriate.
Yeah. They're living their best second life that they could ever imagine.
Absolutely. Reincarnated as a studio prop.
And to be fully transparent with you, it wasn't an original idea that I had. I had watched that band Turnstile do NPR Tiny Desk concert, and it appeared it was like from their rehearsal studio or something, and they had stuffed animals fixed all over the wall, and I was like, oh yeah, that's brilliant.
Oh.
So now I feel like I need more. There's probably another 100 I could probably just take from her room right now. Anyway.
Yeah, without her knowing.
Probably. Well, if you're careful with what you take, yes.
You have very, very recently published Quit Music Volume 1. And
Yeah, I did.
it's churning with early Matador sort of, merge, Superchunk, Archers of Loaf, like that kind of energy. Great tunes, a lot of fun. I like Demon Legs and 80s goth in particular. I'm curious why cassette tapes.
Oh, well, because I don't have high expectations for Quit Music, and it's more of a personal outlet, and I just needed to do it. Like, it was something I want to do, and I'm probably going to do it more. And I wanted to, at first I was really only going to just put it on Bandcamp and just call it good. But then as I did that, like, I'm 51 actually. So, like, I had cassettes, and I have cassettes. I don't have all of them. And now I like really wish, and I still love listening to cassettes. And with the hipper youth, they've become popular again. I've learned. And I was like, great. I have a lot of friends that like love it. And I just thought that, I had like all these projects. The whole beginning, now that you ask, even though you didn't ask, here you're going to get it. The whole beginning of Quit Music is actually part of, spurred on. Joey doesn't know this, but Joey Kaiser, definitely from Glossary, helped put me into this position because he was like, yo, man, you should get Logic. And that's a, recording software. And like, I was like, yeah. And he said, then, I could send you stuff and you can record it. And I was like, well, cool. So I got it. And now the whole thing started. I have this whole new software. And I'd previously messed with GarageBand too. But even though I've played music, almost my whole life, this is all new to me. I'm really green. So I get this software and I'm figuring it out. And so that's where a lot of this stuff comes from. So there's certain song titles on here. For example, let's see. Endless Summer, the second one. That's an amplifier setting in Logic. Stereo Traveler. And so like I came up with that and I wanted to remember what that was. So I called the file Endless Summer. Same with Stereo Traveler. Same with Classic Stack and 80s Goth. Those were all like amplifier settings in Logic, and I'd save the files as that. And then the names I just couldn't come up with another name for them. And it's all instrumental anyway. So what was it matter? Some of the song titles do have like a little bit more meaning to it, but yeah, I would say Joey definitely set me down that path. And as I got more and more involved in it, he was like, "Hey, you got a microphone?" And I was like, "No, man." He's like, starts just giving me gear, and cables and stuff. Like, I didn't have a studio, and then but now I do. It's great. It wasn't like I set out. It's like, Joey just kept giving me stuff that he wasn't using anymore, and now I'm using it, and I'm having a great time because I'm it's all really new to me. I even recorded a band up here at my house called Hamsterdam. And it's, it's out there on Bandcamp. It's a lot of fun. I'm friends with all those guys, and I ended up playing bass on the record because they didn't have a bass player. How convenient. But yeah, that's where this whole quit music thing came from. Yeah.
The irony being you haven't quit music at all.
No, but so with the name, like so I use the space up here often, like, cause I do play music. I play bass a lot live, around town, and that's sort of my, like, I have a family and stuff. So, it's my excuse to get out. It's a social, outlet for me. And love to, there's lots of different people I've gone out and played with. So I have had the bass set up so I can sit here and just learn and practice. So that's sort of how it all started. And a lot of the music I'll play through music program by Apple. They call it music. It used to be called iTunes.
Right.
But when you go to quit it, it says quit music. And after a while of seeing that, I just thought it was sort of funny. I was like, yeah, I should. And so that's why I ended up calling the project Quit Music. Because it's also like an internal dialogue I've had in my head forever. Because I put so much of time and energy and all into like really wanting to trying to play music for a living, and successfully to a certain extent at certain times, but not very much. And I've never been able to let go. It's because it's the thing I love to do more than anything else. And you struggle with I should quit and just focus on get a job and worrying about those kind of things. And then so it's me just sort of making fun of my my undying love for continuing to play music into my old age.
It's an addiction.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And like my addictions could be way worse.
Indeed.
Oh, for sure. Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed. Speaking of which, let's talk about your other band, the active project Electric Python.
Oh man, my heavy metal band.
Which is so awesome in so many ways. I picture the recruitment for this band like there's a mixtape that you're handed, and it's got like Quiet Riot and Louis Cult and Thin Lizzy, and it's like, do you like these bands?
Yeah.
There's a van. There's smoke coming out of the windows.
That band started, they were already, Electric Python already had an album out. The one with the snake on it. Yeah. Why does it have a snake on it, I wonder? Electric, okay. And so they got put on a bill with another artist I was playing with. I've played for like 10 years, and anytime she calls me, I'll play in a heartbeat. Her name's Jasmine Cassett. And I was her bass player for like 12 years, and she was in Bird Cloud. Well, Jasmine Cassett Band ended up on a bill with Electric Python. They went first, and that's how I guess I met the lead singer, songwriter, Jeff. They were awesome. And we sort of became friends. And, well, not sort of, we did. He ends up, for a living, I have a screen printing shop called Grand Palace. And he has a shop a block away from me. We come to learn. And he builds guitar amplifiers for a living. And it's called Heim Amplification. And we got to talking, and so I ended up screen printing the face covers for his amplifiers, the control panels. So that's how we ended up becoming friends. And then we got to talk about, yeah, we all play music too, you know. And then he asked me to, after his band quit, he asked me if I'd play bass with him. And I thought about it for a day, and I was like, yeah. Yeah, I'll do it.
An easy yes, huh?
Yeah, it was. So he got a new drummer at the same time. And the drummer he got was an old friend of mine. His name's Chris Fox. And back in the day, before Glossary, when I was in Daphne's Operation, he was also in a band called the Fun Girls from Mount Pilot. And they were a cross-dressing punk band, and they were awesome. And then he went on to play in Ath Chapel, an amazing band from around here. And Chris, I've always held Chris in really high regard. And I was like, so who's playing drums? And he told me it was Chris. And I was like, wow. I was like, I don't know if I'm good enough of a bass player to keep up with this guy. But I was real nervous about the first rehearsals and stuff, but it all sort of really came together. It was, it's fun. I've been playing with them for almost 3 years now. We have a newish guitar player, this guy named Todd Farrell, who was in 2 Cow Garage for a while, and we're having a great time.
Tell me a little more about Where Electric Python, because that seems to me like that's the most active of the things that you're doing.
It is. What we're working on currently.
What's next?
We're working on a new album. We've been recording it at Jeremy Ferguson's studio. Jeremy owns Battle Tapes here in Nashville, and he's so kind as to fit us in. And we'll be finishing it up in March. And then we got a couple shows lined up. No, nothing like huge and remarkable other than the fact we're opening for Wake really soon. Wake with an R. For people that aren't in the metal world, this is like the most metal band that's happening right now. They're completely amazing. I'm very excited to be able to share a bill with them, and that's coming up like in March. And yeah, we're just putting a new record out, and having a good time. We don't really have like huge world tour ambitions or anything. It's like 2 of us like have families and stuff, so we're just very happy to get to play out around town and have a good time.
The music fits in a particular niche that seems like one of those subgenres of rock and roll that, like, when you get your people together, it's like everybody knows the whole list. Like you go Fu Manchu and The Sword and blah, 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 like stoner metal, doom, whatever you want to call it. I love the font that you guys have been using. The album cover, it's all very like it all takes me back to like those early, like I said, Blue Oyster Cult album covers, and Electric Wizard. It's just, I'm into it. I'm into the genre. I'm a member of that club. So absolutely recommend. Whether it's so Speed Demon, obviously.
Speed Demon's like that's some of the newer stuff with the new lineup. That's with me and Chris.
And then My Next Crime.
Yeah, that's newer as well. Those will be on the new album.
And then so the End of the Night album. What are we in for if we attend an Electric Python gig?
Right now, out of the End of the Night, we're pretty much playing My Laws and Nothing to Lose. We're definitely playing those two because those are like the bangers, and there's other bangers on that album too. But the rest of our set's pretty much new material.
Nice.
Yeah.
When Jeff introduced me to you, he sent me both of those bands. He goes, I think you'll really like Glossary. And I was like, and I listened to Glossary. I'm like, yeah, I really like this. And then I listened to, Electric Python. I'm like, I can see why Jeff likes this.
Yeah.
This is a Jeff band.
Yeah. You're in the Venn diagram of music. There are Keith bands and there are Jeff bands, and there's a ton in the middle.
Okay.
But you live in both circles of that Venn diagram.
Man, I'm a people pleaser.
Bingham, thanks for coming on, man. This has been fun catching up, hearing what you are up to. We will hold our breath on maybe a Glossary reunion of some kind. We will anxiously await the next Electric Python, and apparently more to come from Quit Music. So all of the above.
There's tons of files on my computer. If I can just make sense of them.
Easier said than done.
No, man. It's wild. Being old and learning about this technology.
Yeah.
I'm doing the best I can.
Fair enough. That's all you can do. That's all we can ask.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, listen,
right,
man.
Keith,
thank you.
Keith, any parting shots?
Yeah. All right.
I got nothing.
Is it my 5 minutes to say whatever I want now? I feel like I'm
absolutely riff.
I feel like if I was on Hot Ones, I could say what I've been working on, but I've already told you guys what I'm working on. So
right.
I've already wrapped it all up. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we
appreciate it. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah. Good luck, talking to some people that have actually done some stuff.
You've done some stuff. Yeah.
You guys are doing a great. Y'all do a great podcast. I've listened in preparation. I listened to what I was getting into, and I was like, okay, these guys know what they're doing. This is awesome.
Oh, thank you for making the effort to listen.
Yeah.
A lot of people just come in here. A lot of people just come in blind. They're like, what?
So what are we doing?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about my music.
So listen to definitely listen to the one with Bobby Matt, because like I feel the same way about that dude as you guys. So he I guess I first met him back in the Murfreesboro days. He was the bass player for this blues man from Mississippi called Paul Wine Jones. And Paul Wine Jones came through Murfreesboro, and he played at this campus pub is what this place is called. And it was just it didn't really have shows, but they did every now and then. And Matt and Sweet Dog was the drummer. Oh. And I mean, just Matt, the whole show was ear to ear, and it was incredible. It was incredible watching him play. And the next time Paul Wine Jones came through again, and he didn't have a band, and so they're calling around, and they're like, "Hey, Paul Wine Jones is playing a campus pub. We need a bass player." And I was like, I don't know his songs. And then they're like, just dude, you could play. Just come do it. I came and did it. So I show up and I played bass with him and Sweet Dog that night. And I think I had a grin ear to ear the whole night, the same as Matt Patton, because I was like, if you're playing with that guy, I was like, no wonder he's smiling so bad. It's just so big. It's such a big smile. It was that much fun. And it was, you didn't know what he was going to do. He just sort of followed his lyrics, and it was like it was a surprise waiting around every corner. It's like, is he going to go into a chorus or is he going to end the song here? You don't know. And you're just like, all you can do is just smile about it real big the whole time. It was great.
That's awesome.
But that's my Matt Patton story.
It's a good
And my
story.
Sweet Dog story.
If you ever want to go back, and listen to the original, the first episode Jeff and I did together was with tying it all into Murfreesboro. Was with Matt Mahaffey from himself.
Y'all got to interview Matt Mahaffey.
Yeah, that was the first one that Jeff and I did together.
Last time I saw Matt Mahaffey, we went to the Renaissance Fair, and my wife and I, when we shit you not, man. And in the Ren Fair, we have this castle in Franklin, and they have a Renaissance Fair. You know, it's like all the people come, and there's jousting, and there's turkey leg eating, and all the stuff. And I don't know anybody there, but we tried to get a seat for the jousting tournament. And Matt Mahaffey comes, is like, Bingham. It's like, Matt, what's up, man? So we like, he was there with his family. I was there with my family. So we sit there and watched a jousting tournament together.
That's surreal.
And during all that is when he had been working on, a Nickelodeon show right around that time too, called The Barbarian and the Troll. And he was like, "Oh, dude, you gotta go check it out." You know, show it with Ruby, and it became an awesome show to watch for Ruby and I. And if anyone's never seen The Barbarian and the Troll, oh my god, it's great. The soundtrack is amazing. Matt did the music. I think Tish did the like theme song. It's fantastic. It's there for you whenever you're ready for it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Good to know.
I'm just going to work my way through the whole roster. I'm going to call Seth Timms, and we're going to get Jason from the Cadies. We're just going to do the whole Sponge Bath lineup.
Oh, the Amsterdam band that I recorded recently. We did a show at Five Spot, and we played with Jason and Joshua of the Cadies. They were
no kidding.
Yeah, Sam Powers played bass with them. They called themselves back in the day in Murfreesboro. Jason and all those, they all had like alter ego names for themselves, and they had like this they had this fictitious record label made up called Trailer Park Bull, like him and Gary Welch, their bass player, and they all had like made up names for each other. And Jason was always Wayne Mosh, so he was calling this band Wayne Mosh, and they were great. It was very Cadies-esque, because you have Jason and his brother Josh on drums, so the expectations were there.
Yeah.
Well, Sam Powers is a legend around here. He's played. I first saw him at a house show in Murfreesboro when I first moved there. He was in Who Hit John, and then he ended up playing in Super Drag later on, and he was recruited to play with God Above Voices for a while. So he's a legend. And they were fantastic. It was a good time.
Awesome.
Good to see old friends out still doing it.
Yeah.
And you got to call up Matt too from the Features.
Oh yeah.
He's in Sparta. Yeah, he's in Sparta, just quietly living his life, but he's making music again as Matt in the What Gives.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, man, it's a good time chatting with you guys. Hope you're able to edit it together into something cohesive.
Oh, it'll be cohesive.
Keith's a bit of a magician.
Yeah. And it's a short window. It'll come out on Wednesday. So
yeah.
Oh.
Well, you guys have a great evening, and if you ever have anything else, just holler anytime. If you
Will
just
do,
want to
yeah.
kick it, talk about some records, I'm around.
Appreciate it.
Hey,
Thank you.
Y'all take
thank
care.
you, brother. It's good.
You too.
Cool to see you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks to Bingham for making the time to chat with us.
This episode of Centre Stage was written and produced by Keith R. Higgins and Jeff Calhoun. The show was recorded at Thunderlove Studio, where it was engineered by
Daphne Morris,
with help from
Penetration,
edited by
Vic Titball,
with help from
Clem Fandango.
Our theme song is Cynical by Jaguar on Mars. You can stream Jaguar on Mars wherever you stream your favorite music. You heard the following songs during this podcast: Trouble Won't Last Always, Daydream Drifting, Hold Me Down, The Headstones of Dead Leaves, and Ghosts in the Vapor, all by the band Glossary. You also heard 80s Goth by Bingham Barnes and Speed Demon by Electric Python. You can find all of these songs on the band's respective Bandcamp pages, and you can stream them wherever you stream your favorite music.
original music by Mike Pellegrino.
If you like what you've heard, please remember to subscribe and leave us a rating. It helps other people find the podcast. Thanks for listening.
Grazie.
Bailey Leaf,
Rob Janicki, Mike Pellegrino, Farina Bella,
S.W. Loudon.
Michael Janicki, Peyton Janicki.
This show's executive producer is Lulu McGillicuddy and is in the loving memory of
Lucas Thunderlow.
And now, until we meet again next time, I remain as always obediently yours.
Abandoned Albums is a production of Paw Print Media.